I've heard you talk about your love of Bob Dylan and how big of an influence. Is it that's you and your son play Dylan tunes together? Is that what I heard? Like maybe you had said, or you do you're a family of Dylan fans.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And in looking at that and in looking at the way that you write your tunes and stuff, I mean, he was such an incredible storyteller as well. So,
Right.
I mean, is there a certain era that you like? Are you a fan of the old protest Dylan, or are you a fan of all of it?
I'm a fan of all of it. Like the latest album, I think is incredible.
Yeah.
Right, that Reset, which came out 2 months ago, right down to, his very first album. My very first banjo teacher was a guy named John Gaines, who was around in the village, but moved up to Syracuse, and my parents had to get me a banjo teacher because I was desperate for a banjo teacher. And I met this guy, John Gaines, who showed me the clawhammer style as opposed to the picking style, which is more this rhythmic kind of playing. And I went to his apartment, and there's this album in the corner by a guy named Bob Dylan, which, I was 13 years old at the time. Who's Bob Dylan? It was Dylan's first album. And he handed it to me, and it said, "To John, Bob," or, Dylan had signed it because he knew Dylan in the village. And then about 5 months later, October of '63, Dylan came to Syracuse to play for a corps meeting. And I went with my teacher, and we got to go backstage afterwards. And I got to shake Dylan's hand. And this was at the height of the whole Times Ever Changing, Blowing in the Wind.
Wow.
All that stuff. And he had these really long fingernails, I remember, because, he had to pick the guitar. And then afterwards, we were invited over to his hotel room, which was across the street from the theater. Oh. And here I am, like 13 years old, and Dylan comes up to me and says, and there's a kind of heavyset guy there who must have been Albert Grossman. And Dylan came over to me and said, "Would you like something to drink?" Or, "Would you like something to drink?" Maybe he said it like that. Anyway, sorry, pardon my bad education. And I said, "I'll have a Coke." And he went down the hall and bought a Coke, the old bottle. And
wow.
And then we were issued out, because I was issued out with my teacher's wife, because they were probably going to do controlled substances or something. So it was a good way to start the early part of my life.